by them. They're going to go for an early gank on a Storm Spirit. I mean, with the Warlock,
should be guaranteed.
They don't have the best heroes for it, but start off with a boundless strike, slowed down by the stroke, and sure enough, no one is going to die, and Laurel will claim the first blood. What a way to start game 4.
Yeah, no, when he's laughing on the camera, he drops the smiley face like, what is this, a pub game? You're just going to 3-man smoke gank me level 1? Okay, sure. It is a big deal, though. That's a lot of extra gold for Laurel, which means he can get into the boots faster and gain a level advantage, and maybe you come back there and gank that Storm later. It does show you Spirit's priority, which, as the courier goes down instantly in 9 class, shut down this Storm Spirit. They recognize he's going to be a problem in this game, and they're willing to commit a little extra resources to give Laurel a head start. I don't mind that play.
Yeah.
It does cost you a decent amount, but you get a big return for it because the first blood went to Laurel itself.
No one saying it's reminiscent of 2015, back when him and Samael were the kings of the mid lane, and the mid lane was so important that you had to be able to do certain things like that to offset these matchups, both player and hero combinations that would oftentimes lead Virtus Pro and Evil Geniuses just dominating games through the mid lane. Laurel set up for success in this melee versus Storm matchup with an early first blood. We'll see if no one's able to pull that lane back.
Maybe more interesting is the support lane setup from Spirit this game. They put the Warlock top and the Grinchstroke bottom. Very unconventional for them. It's not often we see Miposhka in this off lane.
Nice stomp. Gets it right as Satanic went for the melt strike. Still got the melt hit on Collapse, so decent amount of damage done, but no kill found for Parivision.
I feel like the times I've seen Miposhka do this are oftentimes on the Bane, when they have some hero they just want to get pulls off in the safe lane and really prioritize. Here it's a little awkward. Warlock often does not function well in this off lane because he's a bit slow to go for the stack. He doesn't have a camp he can reliably pull. He's pretty bad at fighting for that camp, as he has the Monkey King bug, and classic. So it's an awkward position for Miposhka. Maybe they just felt the sustain up top versus the Jakiro harass to keep Collapse on the early waves was worth this trade-off. You are trying to pump a Centaur into a TA lane anyway, which I don't think this really changes the long-term trajectory. Do you think they switch this up at some point again?
What about the Dispel of Dark Pack versus Fatal Bonds? Do you think that means anything in the safe lane? Or they would have just been using it on the Bristleback and the creep wave anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. If anything, okay, you bonds the Bristle, you push the wave, and the Gyro is going to push it anyway, and then you just spam pulls, right? At least you can maybe threaten some XP. Maybe you're not going to get pulls against this 9-class Clark anyway, so he said, okay, well, I'm not going to do anything down here regardless. May as well just heal the Centaur.
Sure.
And, you know, this Grimstroke does give your Gyro a little bit of kill threat down here. Probably more than the Warlock. It's just an interesting swap. Not often we see Spirit go for this. See if it works out in this laning phase. So far, CS is looking pretty strong across the board. That top lane is going to be the roughest, but the Monkey King is doing quite fine mid, and Radon, he's free farming down here, which should be the case against the double melee lane.
Stomp, but Collapse cannot stop Satanic and daedalus firing the Lotus, and they're going to use that Lotus, put it to use by getting aggressive onto Collapse, who's taken a lot of damage already. Time and time again, Satanic is just running him out of lane.
Nice bonds here. Does have the double bracer already up. You just keep putting the heals on to Collapse. He's surviving through this lane, which is what you want if you're Spirit. Oh, a little rundown.
Yeah, they really
boots on Radon.
Willing to chase 9-class this far. He's trying desperately to get the neutral. Kryptonite, he got it. No way.
That's it. This is an afterburner early boots gyrocopter. He really thrives in these chase down scenarios. You just don't get the payoff as the Golem claims the last hit, plus 350 for the Golem clan here.
And it's going to feel bad. It's not even like DM's going to be punished for that longer death timer on the Slark. He was kind of playing 1v2 in a lot of situations anyway, so the lane pushing into the tower leaves him fine. Meanwhile, 24-5 compared to 21-1. So Laurel did take advantage of that early gank that his supports provided him. He's doing very well in the mid lane.
Another solid laning phase from Spirit. They have really stepped it up after that Game 2 loss. Striking back against Parivision. Another interesting thing to note about this Game 4, both teams kind of getting pushed into that mid-game team fighting in terms of the drafting. Right? We see a lot more spell power, a lot more emphasis on how do you win the fights in the mid-game, as opposed to some late-game AFK farming or some all-in tempo push. We're kind of seeing this Grand Finals meta defined here as we go in this Game 3 and 4.
Yeah. One pushed out a lane again. This is getting a little rough. He is still not yet level 5. Now, Storm Spirits, they hit level 5. They can typically just back out and hit neutrals until they get 6, but being pushed out a lane a bit earlier than most.
Advantage off that level 1 gank as much as no one laughed it off. has left them in a bit of an awkward position.
Certainly.
Always get stacks up though. That is the one thing. You have a bristleback, you have a TA, you have a storm. Any sort of jungle stacking you get done here in the early game on the side of Parvision is going to get cleared through instantly. The acceleration that way, as well as, you know, Vanguard coming out for DM here. 300 gold. The Slark can leave him alone now. 9 class can roam. Can look for some courier kills, look for some bounty runes, some vision. Maybe a quick pick off on the top lane if you want to bring 3 heroes there. Definitely some play options available for him.
Collapse. He invested very early on 2 bracers, a magic wand, and chainmail. He wouldn't be an easy kill, but maybe with the Slark, you could bring down the big bad Brad Warden.
Catapult up mid though.
Yeah, rotate both supports into this one. Help Laurel out as much as possible. Get some serious damage on this mid tower. Glyph are going to be used to protect the creep wave. And Night Class, who cut across to try and soak some of this, is immediately going to be jumped on by Laurel. Might even be able to get the kill as he slowed down. Boundless Strike stun is enough. He just sticks on top of this Slark with the Orb of Corrosion.
This is a very rough position for 9 class. He's level 2. That pounce was on cooldown from when he used it to jump away from Root early.
Yep.
It's a 24-second cooldown level 1.
And
Really
Laurel,
tough position for him.
look how much he's just tanked up for the Siege Wagon. The Glyph is going to be used, and yeah, okay, that finally means the Siege Wagon is going to die, but another wave is pushing in. With the Orb of Corrosion, they can get to work here still.
It's just dead. There's no way you can rotate anybody in here. The Storm is jungling. He's still not level 6. And Orb of Corrosion plus Glove of Haste doing its job early. Team Spirit getting the last hit on Laurel. This is a huge win in that mid lane. One of the fastest towers
Yeah.
I've seen of this event.
And we said our panel that for Spirits, Laurel was going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I feel like we repeated ourselves. Yes.
This is that Wisdom Shrine rotation. This is where you can really abuse the fact you won that mid lane.
This is going to be nasty. He's going to be on top of it with the Wukong's command. I don't think they have the damage to deal with him here. He hasn't even popped his ult yet. They just take it because Parvision had no way to be able to fight into it. So
this is a classic Team Spirit move. They love making this move when they win mid. If you can bring Laurel to this Wisdom Shrine, you get both. Now your supports are enabled. You benefit off that mid lane win investment earlier that they made with the smoke. They're paid back. Everybody's happy right now. Parvision getting outmaneuvered here in this early game. It's even doubly punishing because, again, that's Slark. What is 9 class going to do in this game right now? Has no levels.
yeah. DM still looking pretty strong here. Getting a lot of Viscous Nasal Goo stacks up on a Radon, who is slowed down heavily here. Just has to TP away. Too much minus armor, though. Now I'll jump in from no one. Gonna take more. Rue, he has nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide either. Run down by 3 heroes, dodges some spells at least, but a 4th hero joins in on the mix to make sure he gets one of those permanent Agi stacks to call us. Almost bit the dust, though.
Got him with that last stroke. I don't watch that fine art talent. You have Stampede almost available for that fight. Collapse has it now. Ducalis will suicide to the neutrals as an amp damage rune comes in for the gank against the water rune. Amp damage will prevail there. Not a fight no one wants to take.
Yeah, certainly not. 9 class is going to try and keep vision of what Laurel is up to with that amp damage, and sure enough, he's going to go into the triangle. No one knows. He needs to back away. And Class does get jumped. He has the pounce, and he is able to get away from Laurel. Laurel can jump into the trees again. Are you willing to dive this deep, though? This is a little bit risky. They do manage to get the silence onto him. Didn't hit it with the stroke, and now he's been hit by the ice path. This is looking really bad. Stampede's going to be put to use, and Laurel running, trying to get away from DM, but the goo, it will persist. He has to turn and fight as best he can. The goo keeps on stacking up, but he couldn't finish him off. The Monkey King stays alive, and now he's thought about going back into it. Close call with the quills.
Get Boundless up in 1. He was trying to strike that bristle there, heal up, back up. Bonds was doing some serious work there on top of the Wukong. No one just walking through it. Parvision not having a fun time in these early skirmishes, particularly going into the gyrocopter lane. This is the ultimate skirmishing carry, especially with this afterburner Max Barrage.
Yep.
Not a fun hero to try and fight into early. Just group around him. He's space for Satanic. That's the one upside here. This TA is having an absolutely free game.
The early Wukong's command used. Seems like 9 class and no one were thinking about going after that Monkey King, but Laurel makes a good read of the situation, doesn't push in the mid lane. They'll have this ward on him, though.
To keep that Stampede in mind, too, when you go on all these jumps.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to get too baited and then end up expending too much of the Storm's mana. You get caught in a bad situation. minute power rune. Visibility for Laurel. Not the most impactful here, but he will gobble it up. Working towards that Mage Slayer that is going to be damn good this game too against the Bristle, the Storm, the Jakiro, everything here in the early game.
Yeah, despite the, being some physical damage coming out from DM, Mage Slayer is still going to have a lot of value. But so is the Heaven's Halberd that he's about to pick up. He's a bit of a nuisance, and we haven't talked about Satanic in a while, which is probably a great sign for Pari Vision.
Oh, yeah.
He is top net worth easily with all the free space that he's gotten. He's just gone back and forth. Farm lane, farm neutrals, farm ancients. Repeat that as many times as you can.
And he just abandoned collapse on his top lane. He's had to jungle. Only thing Spirit are happy about is this tower didn't really get assaulted too much. This TA got a lot of solo XP. He's going to have a very fast Desolator. They're smoking up here, probably looking for Satanic. We'll have to settle for Ducalis instead.
Yep, get on top of him pretty easily, allowing the Inkswell stun to come through. That's going to be a nice combination all game long for Team Spirit, but particularly potent in the early game. Meanwhile, Radon, we're getting a little bit of goo on him, but DM's running pretty low on mana at this point.
I like that barrage. Just push this lane out. Don't sit there and get gooed up and ganked by some random Storm Spirit.
But if you back up to farm this Ancients, Nine Class is going to work his way around. He's going to watch you from the high ground, as he does so often.
Yeah, downside is he didn't get to kill the catapult on that wave. DM keeps it alive. So this bottom tier one is going to feel some pressure down here if Team Spirit don't opt to defend it. Looking for the trade right now. All you have to TP one of these two cores down there to make that play.
Yeah, they do have Stampede, so it does feel like they probably could take this tower and defend. In fact, Pari Vision, DM, and 9 Class.
Yeah, they felt like that was the play that was coming. It never was, but
nope.
Get some value out of the threat.
Just the Monkey King being off the map is enough of a threat, it seems. Now he's going to TP into mid, fighting for the power rune. It ends up being a bottom regen for a no-1 Storm Spirit.
Can do some serious damage right now. His early game has been slow, again, kind of similar to that game previously. This is a rune that can put him straight back into fighting position. Definitely look for a fight with this. You have to be wary of the ult combo that is up for Team Spirit right now. That's the deadliest thing on the map in terms of the team fighting. This Fatal Bonds Golem online. Grimstroke ulti available. You don't really want to run into this lineup just head on. Again, you want to find pickoffs, you want to split them up. You want to let Satanic continue to accelerate here. He will outfarm everybody. Continue to do so. He will give you that Roshan availability with this early Deso. You do not want to throw a bad team fight into Team Spirit here and make his game that much more difficult. That would be worst case scenario.
Collis with his level 6, he's going to be one of those heroes that's going to try and stand in front of these creep waves, so push him out with Macro Pyre, but Team Spirit have excellent punish. Between the Centaur and the Monkey King, they have really good heroes to just jump these supports when they try and hold the tower, hold the waves.
Monkey King is getting a lot on the map right now. 3-0 start for Laurel. He was set up for this. Took the early tower. Mage Slayer already done. Think about a Radiance on this Monkey King. That would be interesting.
He's farmed enough to do so. This is a very different Monkey King from last game, right? Put it in the hands of Laurel. He got a successful lane, and now this is a Monkey King that looks like, yeah, he's going to scale. He's not going to fall behind.
Yeah, but the downside is you're not getting that Orchid buildup. You're not getting an item that's going to shut down the Storm Spirit.
Right.
This might be a little too greedy for me. I don't know if he'll end up committing for this. We'll have to see. He's a very powerful item on the hero. That team fight even stronger. I mean, going to Radiance Burn, being on top of Stampede plus a Fatal Bonds lineup, yeah, sign me up. Sounds amazing.
It does.
But that is a lot of gold to wait for the next item on a hero that you're snowballing and you're playing through.
It also means that you won't have an answer to that Storm Spirit until Rue gets, I guess, this Rod of Atos, and then get the Phantom on him after that. That seems pretty weak.
Tower is under attack.
Certainly not enough to deal with a no-1 Storm Spirit, who is well on his way to recovery, though he's only tied up with the Centaur right now.
Very even game across the board. Come down to which team makes the first successful move to lead into some early objective taking. That Tormentor spawning in 30 seconds. You're going to have to think about it. That is an objective Satanic would love to clean up here with the early Deso.
Can certainly do it really easily with the physical damage minus armor combination they have. Same applied to Roshan.
Oh, yeah.
But in order to take objectives, very oftentimes you have to win a team fight. That's where Team Spirit looks the stronger right now, right?
If Team Spirit are just sitting on that Tormentor's 5, you're not contesting.
No.
There's no way. You have to set up preemptively or you have to play them around the map. Maybe Team Spirit just don't go for it. You can go down there and clean it up. One of those scenarios.
Feels like one of those games where one team, it's easier for them to win fights, but they can't capitalize on them quite as well, right? Team Spirit's not going to get as many towers, not as many objectives as easily when they win a fight. Vision, harder for them to win a team fight, but when they do, ooh, they're going to make a gigantic network swing between Tormentor, Roshan, towers that are falling.
Deso charges, galvanized stacks.
Galvanized stacks as well, yeah.
Shifts.
That's true. They got some.
They got a lot.
They scale off of hero kills, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've got some nice buffs them off of one team. But they're going to make the Tormentor Roshan trade.
Yep.
I feel like I'm pretty happy about this if I'm part of it. Honestly, the team fight's not there for Team Spirit, right? They're not getting that 5-on-5 for one of these objectives. I feel like Team Spirit would almost prefer if there was a clash on one of these as opposed to either getting traded.
Agreed.
They would rather take the clash than getting either objective in this situation.
It feels like a macro win for Vision in that regard, though. But I think between the two shards, you did get the better one here. Rue, he gets his upgrade on the Inkswell, which has really good value. It's only a basic dispel, but it is really good against this Bristleback.
It's definitely been nerfed over time. The extra hit, damage and heal, not insignificant here.
No.
And this is the support you want to scale in this game. This Grimstroke can do some serious damage in the late game with Ags, with Hex, with E-Blade. Hero's still a monster.
Going after Laurel. Collapse him up, Poshka. Look at him. They don't even blink. They just let Laurel get gone on and wait for their opportunity to jump. Unfortunately, when Collapse does jump, he still whiffs it.
The Illusion Rune was there anyway. Age is still in line for the Storm. Your damage and lockdown's pretty limited there. Trying to hope for a bigger committal out of Vision. Bait more in, if anything.
One of those where Maposhka can drop a golem on him. Does get his TP canceled, but Nightclass doesn't even feel like he can kill Maposhka.
There's a ward that's going to get dewarded up here as well. Vision game continuing to be a nuisance whenever you play into this Slark. TA on top of that with some traps. You're going to have to be on point to set these fights up properly.
Yeah. More and more of a nuisance. He's got, he bought out the hairball. And this is usually where Vision, with this Bristleback, DM always goes to Viscous Nasal Goo. They usually play pretty active once they get the shard, but it feels like this game might be a bit different. They do have Aegis, yes, but I'm still not certain that they actually win the fight.
You can drag it out in a weird position, again, take it from multiple angles. I think it's fine to take the team fight right now. There's a lot of minus armor coming through between the Goose stacks plus the meld hit plus the Deso.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going to shred some targets. This Centaur is not a high armor frontliner. I do fear for Collapse's ability to sit there and take the brunt of the first hit on a hero with 10 armor right now. Those stats from the Blade Mail. Not a fun time.
Looking to make a move. Collapse, TP'd into mid lane to join the rest of his team around here, but Vision have already vacated the premises.
Second Spirit group up.
If they want to jump DM, Bristleback underneath the tier 2. This is a bit of a hard go, but they got him facing the wrong direction, so he takes a huge amount of damage on the chain stuns. If he was faced the other way, maybe it would have been different, but Team Spirit caught him out.
Honestly, even if he's faced with the back to you, it's only the goo. And you still are going to hit him with this Mage Slayer. You're going to reduce it.
That's true. The little bit of quill damage that he is doing.
Yeah, it's not that much. A very confident play from them, and does send a message this game, right? Like, we're not afraid to jump this Bristol. You need to play more careful on the map.
How important do you think it is for the overall macro sense of the game to be able to establish those threats? To say, hey, this hero can't just freely defend towers, to freely push in lanes. We will put the resources to kill them every once in a while.
I think it's huge. It's really big in a mental sense. It gives you a lot more freedom in the game. It feels like you can make plays as opposed to looking at this guy farming out mid in front of your face and going, we have 5 heroes and can't do anything. You just feel so compartmentalized. It's not a kill that necessarily nets you a lot on the map, but it does give you some breathing room. You've all been in those games where Tidehunter or Timbersaw just sits mid and you go, I'll see you in 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Those feel bad. It feels really bad to play.
Right.
Bristol can be in that category, but not this game. You can also end up just being a soulbind target. I've got to be careful about how aggressively you run into these fights and give Ruru a big opening. This is a nice matchup as well for the Grimstroke, right? You get hit with this Phantom. Not a fun spell. Not a fun interaction for the Bristle to deal with. The Yules will eventually come out for 9 class. Definitely slower than his other games.
Yes, I was going to say, this is by far his slowest Yule Scepter, I think, of the tournament. Just at 20 minutes. He's 0-3-1. I feel like the most he's done, yeah, he's given some information, but that move right there is, I think, the most he's done. He's been blocking out camps from Spirit all the time, whether sitting on them with his body or dropping a sentry on them. He's just doing
damage.
like, yeah, small economic damage, but it's also like, you know, double-edged sword there. He's also hurting himself.
His economy is not doing great right now.
Yep.
Sacrificing a lot for this. As Collapse getting poked by Satanic down here does have that stampede, but right.
Satanic showing off the ionic trap deny trick, trying to get those side blades on those heroes as they run away.
You know, the interesting part about all this is a lot of farm got traded out here, but maybe the real winner is Laurel, because he did end up committing for this Radiance Monkey build. He's just kind of cruising to it. There's no pressure on him. It's going to help him farm really fast. It's going to help him scale really hard into this game. Good item versus the TA or versus the Storm.
It means they're not all
double off all the bonds damage.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel a lot better about this game going late with this Radiance.
Stampede immediately put to use as they had the vision of Ducalis trying to get back through the gate. Stop him with the stomp.
In fact, I think this is one of Laurel's strengths as a player. He's very good at adapting his itemizations in the middle of games and thinking about exactly what he wants based on what's our power point to take the game or what is our win condition, right?
Yeah.
How late is this game going to go? At what point are we going to push high ground? And he almost always makes a very clean decision with regards to it. Almost reminds me of another mid player, you know, Hobson, who also used to go Radiance on the Monkey King.
That's
The originator of that build.
Class creates a lot of distraction, taking away the Wisdom Shrine from Team Spirit off of their move on Ducalis, and then he also brought some of the heroes of Team Spirit back. So a lot of base for Party Vision given there.
We've also talked a lot about this carry matchup, right? And Satanic being the AFK farmer is the aggressive player. He's 0-0-0 right now, Austin. You gotta get the CA involved.
Jump on to Yotaro. Radon, half HP underneath the backer fire. He's in big time trouble. He's definitely gonna fall. They dropped the golem onto no one, but he did not get latched by the Grimstroke. So he was able to walk it off, and Satanic has been set to succeed. He got a very, very easy double kill off of that one, and he's probably gonna find a third. Rue is running for the hills, but he's got a Ghost Scepter. He does also have the Gossamer Cape. That's gonna help him a lot here. And Swell, he's just buying time. Eventually, he's gonna have to Ghost Scepter.
Go TP for 5 seconds.
Instant Yules to stop him from running away and dispel that Ghost Scepter. The other side, Collapse, yeah, he gets going on. He still has the stampede. He's actually going to go after no one. Trying to run him down here. He still has to stop. Oh, another double edge. Did he got it? No, it's not enough damage. Are you kidding me? How did he do so little? It's a level 1 double edge. That's why.
Absolutely pathetic. It looked hype, but there was no way to get that in the end. And what a team fight from Party Vision. They just caught Spirit sleeping. They were gathering up for a play. They didn't have the Radiance on the Monkey. They did not have the BKB and the gyro. That's an easy jump on Yotaro every time until he has, you know, BKB probably Satanic in this game. 3 hits from the TA, you're gone. That's a bunch of Deso charges. Going into Satanic here, 6 for him. Bunch of Galvanized stacks for no one.
Yep.
And suddenly this game is looking pretty solid for Pirate Vision. They are getting the snowball they want. They're looking towards that next Roshan. That's going to be a huge deal. Do you try and contest that if you're Spirit? You get to that BKB on the gyro and have enough confidence with the Radiance Monkey to go into that pit and contest what Satanic is putting out right now, because he was 0-0-0 going into that fight. Now he's 3-0, and he is very far ahead. He got so much out of that 2 minutes. He
got some hero kills. He got the top tower, took away the Ancients from Team Spirit, and they've got some deep wards, whether wards or traps, little bits of vision all over the place to set up for this next Roshan.
He's level 19. He's so high level.
Yeah.
This is a double-edged sword. If you die in the fight, you're going to be dead for a long time. But
that is true.
You are so strong on the map right now. He's just playing completely alone, forcing him off the entire upper half.
It's crazy how far up he is without his team anywhere close by. That's with BKB. There's nothing that stops him.
Yeah, always BKB TP in this game.
Zip over Maposhka. Tanks this movement from Party Vision. As farther down, Radon was farming up the jungle.
BKBs are done for Party Vision. They're going to start to get aggressive, and this is where, Spirit, you're going to get picked and pulled across this map right now. With TA traps plus the Slark Vision, you split up, you're just food for this Storm to jump. Half the group, they have to find the team fight soon. They're struggling to do so. Radiant's done for the Monkey, BKB done for the Gyro, Crimson done for the Centaur. It's all team fight, all day for Spirit. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, can they actually put the pieces together? Or are they just going to sit back on their laurels and hope that Laurel, with his Radiance, between him and Radon, are they actually going to outscale a bit of this Templar Assassin?
I mean, Radon is not outfighting anybody in this game until Satanic. Is for sure. He gets shredded on this front line. Does not have the survivability. He cannot be first point of contact. Has to be either the Centaur or the Monkey King going in, setting up the fight that way. And you got to deal with the BKBs. Soulbind is your best option. Catch the Storm Spirit when he goes in.
Got the jump onto the Centaur. Yules, he has a pounce if Night Class wants to keep him here. But this is the target. Yeah, this is the target that Team Spirit wants you to jump. Ari Vision, realizing that, will back away.
That is not the fight you want if you're Par Vision.
No.
Do not want to overcommit on Collapse and maximize his value while setting up a fight for the Gyro and the Monkey. Same thing with this
all in the bristleback. Oh, he what? Oh, missed in the boundless strike there. I'm not even sure if they were honestly going to commit to this bristleback or not. Oh, man, to get the spot on the two of them. Oh, and that's going to be a beautiful stop to set it up. They're slowed down, bailed out of it. Class with the death trap. They're actually going to go after the Monkey King. At least Storm trying to save it. Still though, DM is left behind. The Stampede's going to go off. They finally finish it. And now with the extra movement speed, they try and chase after more. Satanic on the low ground, throwing shots for Radon. He is dying fast. He is getting overwhelmed by the damage of Satanic. The carry battle continues to go to the favor of Satanic time and time again. He just appears to be too damn big for Spirit to handle.
Spirit are falling deeper into this hole right now. The lead is growing. This TA is taking this game over. And there's just no answer for the BKB Templar Assassin going in the fight and shredding your gyrocopter. Doesn't have a butterfly, doesn't have a Satanic, no survivability available. Gets caught by an ice path. Yeah, simple. Whereas the amount Team Spirit need to unload to bring this bristleback down is absurd. It takes so long, it takes so many holds. Need more damage right now, they need more lockdown, and Satanic, he is not going to give him the time to get there. Another Roach to fall, more Deso charges for the TA. Now an Aegis to play with as he goes into the daedalus. This damage is going to continue to escalate very quickly here. It's going to be another 30-minute high ground timing push that Spirit are just not prepared for.
High ground is definitely going to be the most difficult part for Pari Vision. But if they can pick apart Team Spirit, say Laurel, who can't jump away to the trees fast enough, and now no one is able to follow up that initiation. A beautiful pickoff like that, you get more of those, high ground might just be free for the taking.
This is the Slark value. These wards, the D wards, the vision, the setup, constantly hounding you. He makes your life miserable. You can't farm in places. Direct teamfight impact is the depth shroud primarily, but these little plays is what
Radiant are scanning.
gives you so much gold on the map. You're hugging a high ground ward, trying to make anything happen around this, but the daedalus is done for Satanic, and he's just going to force him off the area.
Yeah, not even the Centaur is safe from this damage of Satanic.
Got the side blade there.
Yep, getting really good side blade value. Collapse, blinking ahead of DM. DM just pushing forward, seeing if he can get the kill on the support. Ghost Scepter used early. Satanic, again, the side blade hit on the traps. Fishing for it, does not find the kill. Still though, well positioned to take this tier 2. I don't think Team Spirit are doing much to stop this, but then maybe they're gonna try.
Oh, they're gonna fight.
Finally put their team fight together. Remember, they still have the double Fatal Bonds combination.
They still have the ward on the hill. That's the biggest thing here.
Oh, you're right. That is a fantastic ward. Nightclap's gonna spot it now. Pari Vision starting back away. Collapse, whipping the initiation. Satanic on the front lines with this Aegis. They do make double bonds. Double Fatal Bonds. The gold's gonna be dropped. Huge amount of damage. Running out of Pari Vision. This is not looking good. Big burst damage from no one. Trying to finish off these two heroes. Satanic on his second line. He goes to work. Nightclap's finally dies, but it's all that's left is Radon and Rue stuck in a corner. They might have hit the combo, but Pari Vision, the gold is too much for Spirit to handle.
The second life there for Satanic makes so much of a difference. And he will collect even more charges on this. So regen rune for no one was massive in that fight as well. And it's the BKBs. Yeah, you land this double bonds, but both these cores can just sit in the middle of the fight with their BKBs and they kill Laurel pretty quickly there. This Radiance Mage Slayer Monkey just doesn't get to play the full duration of the fight. The Wukong does not do enough. This TA is simply hitting too hard, too fast for Spirit to handle. Radon cannot match it right now.
Hitting for almost 500 damage a shot. We said Pari Vision, when they win fights, they're going to take more objectives than Team Spirit can. And we're seeing that put onto display. 3 different team fights won, and now hitting the high ground, almost taking a melee barracks before the 30-minute marker, but they eventually do decide to retreat.
What do you do with your Spirit now, though? That was your fight. That was your double bonds. The root calling on top of everything, and Marl's just getting killed by no one. No one kills Collapse there, goes back in. The Monkey King dies to Satanic's second life. If there's no Aegis, it could look a lot different, but decided to take that fight knowing he had that second life.
Oh, Radon gonna be jumped again. They popped out the soul block, but doesn't matter if your carry is gone. 70 seconds. Pari Vision, they might just be ending this series here and now.
Aim damage. This TA is so hard right now.
They want to keep fighting more. Laurel has to use the Boundless Strike with the Shark to jump back inside the base. The heroes are being slowed down. No one pulling back in Rune. No more Ghost Scepter to protect him. And collapse! Half his HP in one shot from Satanic. This is just all over, man. They're running down Laurel. Another Boundless Strike back into the thought will barely survive. But Pari Vision are inside your base, taking the lane. Top is gone. They're going to take the tier 2 up next. Seemingly, Spirits can't do anything to stop them anymore.
They have just been annihilating Yatoro in these games. He's had some deaths that have just led to game losses. No breathing room available. And Satanic just absolutely taking this one over. 9-0 on this Templar Assassin. 400 CS, almost level 25 already. It's just poured in the damage. He wants to, like you said, he's about to end this series right now.
The only thing that's really stopping Pari Vision looking for more. Tier 2 at the bottom lane, but 2 lanes at 31 minutes. Team Spirit
is sweet and sting.
One more mistake and they're out.
I mean, they teach this kid too much. That's all they should be asking themselves right now. Shouldn't have brought them under their wing.
Little bird has grown into a falcon that is just hunting down Spirit Hero after Spirit Hero. Radon looking like a shell of himself as every single time he steps out, it's just all in him pretty casually.
This TA is 12,000 ahead of him. Even fair.
He might actually double up on him in this game.
That is absurd. They're not even going to wait for objectives anymore. They know how far ahead they are.
Yeah.
He just wants to end this game. I don't care about Roshan. I have full Swift Blink. I have Daedalus. I'm going to hit level 25 on one more wave.
If they get more pickoffs, that tier 2 is gone, and now Collapse in big time trouble. He still has the Stampede to work with. They used the stun. Now he's going to pop the Stampede, see if he can get enough distance to TP away. Neutral's trying to help him out here. Goes for the TP now. Is that going to be enough? No! Night Class gets there in time with the Yule Scepter, and down he goes. Another 45 seconds. The windows just keep on opening. There's a bit of draft here in Team Spirit's base. No buildings in top or mid, and the bottom lane is open for the taking. All Satanic has to do is play this slow and wait for the rest of his team.
Just Ghost Scepters. I mean, that's all Spirit have going for him. Buy as many Ghost Scepters as you can and try and dodge as many TA hits as you can. As level 25 talent now available for Satanic, he already has refraction instances in this game. That is brutal for you to try and get through, especially when you don't have BKB control. You gotta remember, this guy, during BKB, no one is touching him. No one's stopping him from hitting you.
Yep.
They're gonna wait for the next Roche. 2 minutes on the clock here. They're up 30k gold. You just got bags on your Jakiro. All the damage in the world. Nullifier on the bristleback. Spirit, you gotta pull the biggest rabbit out of your hat that we've ever seen from this team to pull this game back.
Yeah, it also posed an interesting conundrum for them with all this team fight. You can only do it once. Are they going to do it on the Roshan contest, or are they going to wait until Pari Vision pushes into their base? Because contesting Roshan is not going to be easy with the top and mid lanes constantly being pushed in, right? You don't show on the map, Pari Vision, they'll just wait, right? They don't need to try and force the Roshan. They could just chill out, wait for you to eventually show back in your base.
Part of me says you have to contest that Roshan, and you give an Aegis to this team. The game just feels over. At the same time, I don't know how you contest that Roshan because you're going to have to go through the Slark to do it. There's no way Pari Vision are just going to clump into the pit and give you some 5-man hoof stomp. The other option is to just try and get the lanes out, make a 5-man smoke play, and hope you can pick somebody off. Either find the Storm or the TA just on their own, magically on a ward. You chain stun them into a kill. Get Roshan off that. Could be your last smoke play. They're kind of smoking up the map with supports, but this is not going to yield anything.
Got a scan on Rue. No one.
Nothing is free.
He thought he was going to try and take the Wisdom Shrine, but no. Spirit. You know how far behind they are. There's certainly no way to take that shrine.
We have a full Hex done for 9 class. He got to it before.
Rakan got spotted on that Watcher. He stumbled into it. This is bad. Okay, he has to use his BKB TP just to make sure he doesn't get caught like Collapse did earlier.
Still not building the survivability though. He just can't afford it. Let's get his level 20 talent, but he's going for the Silver Edge build up again. We know how much Radon likes this kind of itemization.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helping you survive against this TA though. That is the biggest concern. You have to solve the Satanic puzzle. How do you beat Satanic?
Oh, Radon, he just walked over a TA trap. He just uses his ult, backs away with the Silver Edge, so he's not going to be caught on this side of the map. Not yet, anyway.
I mean, he's just assuming that Party Vision are waiting for Roshan here.
Yeah.
Which is the correct assumption. That said, Satanic is 6-slotted. He'll have to drop some net worth to pick up an Aegis if he wants to. As he has finished a full Satanic. His namesake here. What do you do versus?
I have no goddamn clue.
Hope his team takes a 4v5 without him. That's your best bet, I think.
That honestly might be your best bet at this point in time.
Oh, Radon sneaking up the side of the map, hoping for a leftover Wisdom Shrine or something. Not going to be rewarded.
Instead, all he'll find is neutrals. That's the only units he can kill in this game. Can't show in the lanes, can't kill heroes.
I mean, I will say there's still some scale for Spirit to get to. You get to the Ags on the Centaur, you can put the gyro in the cart. At least then the TA is not killing him. You get to a Hex on the Group Stroke, can always be a huge item to turn these games around. But both these items are still a couple thousand away. The problem is the second this Aegis falls, I don't think Party Vision are going to go back to farm. They're going to try and end that game with that Aegis. They'll give it to Satanic here. The banner to play with, you have a refresher shard to play with. You gotta remember, this is the 3rd Roche already.
I'm gonna take the refresher.
I mean, it doesn't matter, give it to anyone. They're gonna give it to Collis, double Ags, Jakiro, double Ice Path. It's gonna make someone's day quite miserable here.
You've seen his macro pyres have actually been pretty deadly. Very often, Yatoro's just left sitting in the fire and flames.
You have buybacks to play with a little bit if you're Team Spirit. The Toro does not, however.
Not even waiting for the bottom wave to push in. Ari Vision trying to strike early through the mid wave.
They just want to jump anybody.
Team Spirit playing pretty far back. Arl shows himself for a second there. Instant go scepter. Not a response. Ari Vision pop back out of the base. Satanic says it's time to deal with the bottom wave. Still plenty of time left on this Aegis, so there's no rush. They fished for an opening, didn't really find it. Fair enough.
Trying to find Yatoro on any of these side lanes. 9 class is going to clear out that top half of the map. The TA will push in the bottom half. And they'll probably meet at this bottom lane of Rax. Last one in this game, perhaps the last for Team Spirit in this tournament. We have to find some sort of opening. Any pickoff, any kill would be a blessing right now. Minutes left on this Aegis. You just push in bottom, you go for the win. Pretty hard to see how you lose this fight. So much to bail out the TA if he gets all in. You have 2 lives to play with. An armlet on the Centaur collapses. I'm never getting to an Axe. I need whatever I can get right now.
Every small item you can get your hands on for this final push coming their way. Banner down. How does Spirit approach this? Can they actually get with Satanic even one time? Amplifier immediately going out. They're all leaning on the Satanic. That's bailed out by the Death Shroud. But Don really didn't do that many flat cannon shots. He's already lost to Warlock and Laurel. Both dead. Wukong's command just being ignored by Satanic. They didn't even come close to beating out Satanic on the first life. That is going to be Megas.
You're gonna have to buy Monkey.
Oh, we got the dieback onto Maposhka as well.
He's just 1v5 at this point.
He really is. He is showcasing that he is able. He is the new generation of East European carriers. He is perhaps the best carrier in the world, and he's backed by a team that is just so damn good. They're putting it all together, taking on the TI champions time and time again, running
great. Back-to-back ESL champions. What a team. I think a lot of people doubted whether they would be able to come back to full fruition after kicking Crystallis, after they bring in the youngest, most promising carry in the world. Are they going to find the same synergy?